Alright ladies, what if you were unconsciously doing things that slowly make a man lose interest in you? Because I see this happen all the time. Everything else in your life is going well. You have a good career, you're working on yourself, but when it comes to dating and relationships with men, you sometimes find yourself thinking, what the hell is happening? Because every connection starts great. The chemistry is there, the man seems genuinely interested, and then slowly something changes. The effort drops, and you're left wondering what went wrong. But here's the interesting part. The things that slowly make a man lose interest are rarely obvious mistakes. More often, they're subtle patterns that feel completely normal in the moment, but quietly change how he perceives you over time. If you're new to the channel, my name is Ismael Gomez, and after years of coaching many women like you, I started noticing the same 5 invisible patterns showing up again and again. Patterns that slowly make a man lose interest, even when the woman is attractive, intelligent, and genuinely a great partner. So today I want to share those 5 patterns with you and what to do instead, so you can start changing the results that you get in your love life. Okay, so let's begin. Number 1. You frame the relationship as emotional relief. One subtle pattern that can quietly lower a man's long-term investment is when the relationship begins to feel like emotional relief rather than emotional direction. So what's happening is that spending time with you is going to feel good. It's going to feel like taking a break from life. And while that can be great in the moment, it can slowly shape how he categorizes the relationship. Instead of thinking this woman is someone that I could build a future with, his subconscious mind is going to start thinking, being with her always feels like a vacation. And the problem with vacations is that people enjoy them, people look forward to them, but when a man experiences the connection only as emotional comfort or escape, the relationship can remain in a recreational category in his mind. For example, one of my recent clients told me that the guy that she's seeing right now always comes over to her place after a long day, and they immediately start talking about how stressful work has been, and the entire night turns into the same pattern. They sit on the couch, he vents about life, complaining about work, they have some intimacy, and then finally they put a movie on Netflix to kind of distract themselves and forget about the day. So I told her that next time, don't let him come over to your place. Instead, you pick a place that you actually enjoy going to and ask him to take you there. Make him invest in the experience, because when a man has to plan and show up, he begins to feel like he's building something with you rather than simply taking a break from life. And that changes the emotional dynamic completely. Number 2. Lacking clarity in your language. Another subtle behavior that can quietly lower your perceived value is lacking clarity in your communication. This often shows up through long explanations in text messages or even when you speak to him, and when communication turns into essays, it actually signals something deeper than just being expressive. Many times it reflects uncertainty about what you actually want to say, what you feel, or what you expect from the situation. Clear communication tends to be simple. When you truly understand your feelings and your boundaries, you can usually express them in a sentence or 2. One exercise that I always do with the women in my program is analyzing their text messages and challenging them to express their ideas in 20 words or less. And this can be a huge game changer for all of you. And in fact, I'm going to show you a quick example from one of our past sessions so you can see exactly what I mean. Okay, so everybody go to the chat. She said, "Thank you for saying you're not around when I need you the most. I do feel that way, and I wish you were here when I needed you. I really do need someone 100% present and know when exactly we see each other and have plans and have things to look forward for us." This is a perfect example.
I have a lot of these. It's
Okay.
bad.
I sent, that and 3 voice messages afterwards, so I feel you. We all done it. What do you think about this? I need a partner who's present and available. Our lives don't align that way, and that difference matters to me. That's it. Again, a useful tip to always keep in mind is that if you can't say what you mean in 20 words or less, you probably haven't fully clarified it in your mind yet. So do that first before you speak to him. Number 3. Liking him versus evaluating him. A pattern I notice in many women I speak to is that they'll often spend 10 minutes listing all the things that they like about a guy, how charming he is, how strong the chemistry feels, then maybe 1 minute actually considering whether he's emotionally available, consistent, or aligned with what they want long term. And ladies, understand that liking someone is easy, attraction is easy, especially when you're craving connection or you haven't felt that spark in a long time. But liking someone should never override your ability to evaluate them. You can enjoy the butterflies, but still ask, is this person consistent? Is he actually good for me? If you're not evaluating a man, you're simply reacting to him. And that's how good-hearted women end up in confusing one-sided relationships with men who were never even capable of showing up in the first place. It's like when you buy food because you like the taste, but you never even bother to look at the ingredients. And dating can be the same way. If you like the chemistry and the excitement, but you never stop to look at the ingredients of the man. Number 4. Your validation becomes too predictable. When a man spends time with you, he's not just paying attention to whether you like him, he's also paying attention to how easily your validation is earned. Some women unintentionally make their approval extremely predictable. No matter what the man does, whether he shows up fully, puts in minimal effort, or behaves inconsistently, the emotional response that they receive from you remains almost the same. And even when things are going great with him, for example, like if he comes to you and he tells you about a business idea that he's working on, and your response is always like, that's amazing, what a great idea. Like you don't have constructive criticism, regardless of how serious or developed the idea actually is, your admiration becomes automatic. I often come to my fiance and I tell her a video idea that I have. And many times she tells me, I don't think it's that interesting. And of course I spend 5 minutes, defending the idea because my ego is bruised. But eventually, I understand what she's trying to tell me. And that's the thing. Her admiration is not automatic, it's responsive. So your validation is best earned through observation, not giving us a default setting. Because people don't attach most strongly to admiration that's guaranteed, they attach to validation that feels meaningful when it's given. And final, number 5, giving ultimatums. Ultimatums usually don't start as manipulation, they start as desperation. It's that moment when you've been patient, over understanding, and you finally snap. You say something like, hey, if you don't change, I'm done. But what you're really saying underneath it is that you don't know how else to be heard. So the problem is not that you set a boundary, it's that you turn a boundary into a test. And tests are always going to destroy emotional safety on both sides. When you give an ultimatum, you're not longer relating, you're negotiating. And even if he agrees, the energy is going to shift from bonding to compliance. And compliance might give you short-term relief, but it's going to kill long-term trust, because authentic love doesn't need a deadline, it needs direction. So instead of saying, hey, if you don't commit, I'm leaving, you can try saying something like, hey, I care about you, but I'm looking for something that feels secure and mutual, and this doesn't feel like that at this moment. See the difference? One threatens and the other one reveals truth. One closes the door and the other one leaves space for him to make a choice. Alright ladies, those are the 5 patterns that I wanted to discuss, and for today's comment we have Chris, who wrote, at this point I think I'm better off alone because I feel there's literally no one who can match my level of understanding and love the way I do. Chris, I understand why you and many others feel this way, okay? I see it in the comments, especially after a series of disappointing experiences. But thinking that there's no one out there who can match your level of commitment is a bit like saying, let me give you this analogy. It's like if you say, hey, I've tried 10 restaurants in my city and the food was horrible. So clearly good food does not exist. Dating is kind of like the same. Sometimes it's not about your capacity to love. It's about where you're looking, how you're selecting, and how you're evaluating the people that you meet. Because when you take massive action, when you change your environment, you change your habits, usually the type of men that you encounter change as well. It's like I always say, for your relationships to change, you need to change, okay? Have a beautiful day.